Welcome to Andy and Ari on 3. Oh, it's the day we've all been waiting for, the game show that is sweeping the nation. Whose team is it anyway? Cody Bellaire, our On 3 national scout, will join us, and he's going to take us deep into the transfer portal, and Ari and I are going to try to remember who's on what team, which, Ari, that's not easy these days.
I cannot wait to get humiliated. I love that, like, a main aspect of our show is my humiliation, but I'm super excited about it because, you know,
I think you're thinking I'm not going to be humiliated, and I think I probably am going to be humiliated.
Yeah, like, I don't know how deep in the rabbit hole Cody went. Like, John Mateer went from Washington State to Oklahoma. Like, do I get a point? Like, or is it going to be some, like, D2 left tackle who's, like, starting at Rutgers right now? Like, I have no idea.
I did some market research. My son asked me this morning, what is the show today? And I told him, and I started naming transfers and guys that we've talked about quite a bit on the show. And he's like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who they play for. I was like, okay, this is good. Because he follows college football quite a bit, plays the video game, like has a very good idea of who players are. So I do think,
like, the thing
this is going to be helpful for the folks out there.
Cody's coming into this knowing that we're not normies, though. So he's not going to, like, give us, like, Carson Beck. Like,
I told him to give us a range. I like start us easy and then get harder as you go.
Okay. All right.
I also told him
start easy. It won't be so bad.
When we played this game last year, that's when Cody threw out, hey guys, Sam Levitt, this quarterback who transferred from Michigan State to Arizona State, is going to be awesome. You need to pay special attention to him. And that worked out pretty well for Cody.
I mean, Cody's the literal reason why I put LSU in my playoff bracket. So, like, I don't know if that's going to turn out to be true, but he does have a way of calling out some things in the offseason. So I trust. He said LSU was going to be badass this year, and I took that, and I took that personally. So that's we'll see what he has to say. I hope he's got some zingers and some predictions. Like, he's like the groundhog from Punxsutawney. By the way, why does nobody talk about the fact that there is a clairvoyant rodent who can, predict weather?
People talk about it all the time. There was a major motion picture.
Think about, like, all the things that, like, are weird in this world. And
every February, people talk about it. People descend on Gobbler's Knob and
but
and watch the rodent.
Kind of freaky, though, that there is a rodent that can project weather.
I mean, there was an octopus that could pick games.
That's true.
Although octopi are supposed to be very smart. Who's also very smart?
I know
Cody Bellaire.
Bring him in. I want him to listen to this from the backstage.
Okay.
I'm going to go on a quick mini rant about something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So yesterday, because you remember last time we were supposed to get a whiteboard. I was supposed to get a white. I didn't come up with a whiteboard.
Yep.
So yesterday, River texted us, go make sure you have your whiteboards. And I was at 4:00 and I was, like, laying in bed. And I'm like, am I going to get up and go to am I going to go to Office Max now? Or am I going to just, like, go to Amazon? And I was like, I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm not going to go to Office Max. I don't even know where one is. Certainly not going to Staples.
Damn it.
And
bastard.
I paid $3 to have these boards shipped to me in between 4 and 8 a.m. It's 8:37 a.m. and they're not here. And the thing that I don't understand, and trust me, I'm strapped. We're in a mahjong meeting notebook. Okay, like, I'm good. I've got some heat here. But, like, what is this country where you're, like, paying for things? Like, does anybody do what they say they're going to do anymore? Like, does anybody?
Yeah, I said I'd have a whiteboard. I arrived home after dropping my son off at football workouts at 9:12 a.m. Eastern time, so 18 minutes before showtime. At 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, I realized that someone's thrown away my whiteboard. It's gone. So I ran my ass to Walgreens and I bought a damn whiteboard because I don't rely on somebody else to bring things to me. I go and get them. Hunter-gatherer am.
That's the rant, though. Why do we live in a society where there's a service offered?
Why are you so lazy that you rely on handing someone $3 to get something when you could just go get it?
That's a secondary issue, and I'm willing to own up to that. But I want you to focus on my point here, which is why are services offered that cannot be delivered on? Like, why am I paying a premium?
You don't know that it can't be delivered on. They hope it can be delivered on, and then they hope that you won't complain. You will get your $3 back if you complain.
I'm not that's the other thing now. Do I have to like go through this complaining process to get my $3 back? Probably not. But like, it's just if you order food, it's going to be wrong. If you go to a mechanic, they're not going to do it right.
Well, think about who you're relying on in this process. Think about the skill level of the people you're relying on in this process. Are these the best and brightest our society has to offer usually?
It's a service industry in America, and I feel like it's becoming worse and worse and worse.
Well, yeah. If you do things really well, you get paid more to do other things. So, like, that's why you go get your whiteboard yourself. Now,
from now on, I'm just
whoever threw away my whiteboard, that mystery is going to have to get solved later, but I was not happy. Let's put it that way.
At least it's not panties.
It is not panties, and it is not a case of some. If a mysterious whiteboard had appeared in my house, that would have been even better because then I just would have had two.
The mysterious zero. Now I have panties drawn on it. Okay, let's bring Cody up. Come on.
All right, Cody Bellaire on 3 National Scout. On that note, how we doing?
I wish I could start every morning like this, and honestly, I do listening to you guys, which is great, but. Wow. I tell you what, I'll be honest. I am team paper currently. So apologies for not getting a whiteboard myself, but I also don't need one. So
you're the host. Yeah.
I'm chilling, but no, it's a treat to be with you guys today.
I am so excited for this. I love this game. I love playing it every year. I love that you toss out some incredible nuggets that will pay dividends all season long. So
I almost feel bad because I know Ari led off there with like, yeah, Cody's been hot on LSU. You know, he's been really hot. I went and saw them this summer and, you know, I'm hearing some good things, hearing some not so good things. So,
oh boy,
we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Right. You've been on the tour. You were in my town last week. You were in Gainesville last week looking at the Gators.
That was my first time in Gainesville too, Andy. And it was great. I loved it out there. Mm-hmm. They have a great facility, good little staff that I got to meet. They're doing things all right over there. Napier's got it going. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. It's the complete opposite. There's 1 billion people in that building. It's unbelievable. So they got to go.
Yeah, they need the brand new building to house all of the people. But
1,000%.
This is so exciting. So obviously, like we told you, don't give us Carson Beck. Don't give us John Mateer. We talk about them all the time. Everybody already knows Carson Beck transferred from Georgia to Miami. John Mateer transferred from Washington State to Oklahoma. Who are some of the other? Nico Aliaba. We spent 3 weeks of shows detailing his transfer from Tennessee to UCLA. But there's some very impactful transfers this year, Cody, and it feels like you can reshape a roster. And you know, I'll go to a school you used to work at, Texas Tech, where they are placing a big bet on being able to change a roster entirely through the transfer portal. Is it possible to do that?
I think it is. Andy, the thing that's so fun about this and the way teams are going about building the roster and using the portal or going high school heavy and stuff like that, nobody has a blueprint. Nobody has the answer key right now on how to build it. You know, there was a time before the portal where it felt like everybody sort of had the same methodology, right? You're going to take, I don't know, 18 to 24 kids in high school, and you're going to have some kids matriculate out, and that's how you replace them. And you're going to have guys step up, and you're going to, we'll take this kid who's going to develop 2-3 years, and eventually he'll become a starter, and that's how it works. But now with the portal and NIL and all that stuff, nobody has the correct answer. Nobody knows how to truly build this thing.
Did you say nobody? I think Georgia figured it out.
I guess so.
But Ohio State's got it pretty good.
They're doing pretty good.
There's three teams that figure it out.
Yeah, there's some heavy hitters that I think have done a really good job, and they have had a lot of resources. But now that we're getting into, I don't know, what is it, like year 5 of the portal, year 6 of the portal, I think we're going to start to see more and more teams hone in on strategy when it comes to building their rosters. And I think we're going to start to see more consistency down the line when it comes to how teams go about building this thing. But I wouldn't say there's a correct answer right now.
Yeah, the thing that I think is really interesting, Cody, about that is that the strategy altered quite a bit for a large portion of the schools, or at least the ability to do something different did. But if you asked everybody what they would do, if they could, it would be the old way, which is get really good players
five-star linemen out of high school,
so
and develop them.
I think that the strategy is the same. The number of teams that can consistently do it while also being good at the portal has shrunk, which has put us into this chaos. That's my theory. You know, so, but I think if you asked any coach in America, can you sign a top 10 class 4 years in a row and then figure out the rest annually? That would probably be the right plan for them, right?
I agree. But I do think it'll be interesting because especially if you bring up Texas Tech like Andy did, guys, if you look at that depth chart, I think 12 to 13 of those starters are going to be transfer kids. And if that team ends up panning out being in the Big 12 title game or being Big 12 champions or winning 10 games, I think you're going to have some teams look at that and say, maybe that's the way we go about things. And you'll see teams attack the portal in a different way. Who knows? That's the best part of it. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
We got to see how.
And I would say like Ole Miss did what they intended to do last year. The execution just failed. Like,
didn't get across
Kentucky, beat Florida. Like, it's not. You had the team. You did the hard part on personnel.
Absolutely.
Or teams that feel like they have a harder time winning the other way might feel like they have to do it the Texas Tech way.
Right. The problem is those Texas Tech pockets are deep now.
Yeah,
they got some good backing. So. Yeah, exactly.
You saw the story that Shahan Jayaraja wrote on Wednesday. I got halfway through it.
It was spectacular. It was really good.
So
it's awesome, man.
I did feel like I just want to go out to West Texas and have like a country fried steak at what was the Landman restaurant they always went to? I want to eat there.
The Patch Cafe.
Patch Cafe.
I don't know if it's a real thing.
Yeah, I want to go to the Patch Cafe.
I tell you what, knowing the guy that Joey McGuire is, if you let Joey McGuire know that you are in Lubbock, he will take you out for a really strong weekend. I will tell you that 100%.
On the show. Yeah, he said if there's biscuits and gravy on the menu, you have to order it. Doesn't matter where you are, what time of day it is. If they offer it,
that was his rule, right?
It's great advice too. I have followed his advice since he gave it. So I love Steve in San Antonio. Lubbock is not West Texas.
Yes, it is.
Pretty far west, Steve.
I'm going to say
close to New Mexico.
Is he saying that the only West Texas that counts is El Paso?
Is El Paso? Yeah, I guess so.
But, all right.
West Texas is probably Odessa, right?
Odessa is
Midland.
Yeah,
it's like right there,
just east of Lubbock. So
it is. It's like Lubbock is north, Odessa, Midland is south, and then El Paso is the west tip.
Yeah, right. But if Odessa counts as West Texas, then
absolutely
Texas Tech is in the heart of
Lubbock, Amarillo.
You're doing right.
All those
you're doing it right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, enough geography. Now it's time to just do sheer memory because a lot of these transfers happened in December before the 2024 college football season even actually ended, before the college football playoff ended. And I think that's part of the hardest part is some of these. I was trying to study this morning, Cody, and I was like, I had completely forgotten this guy transferred. Completely forgotten. And it is.
I have not studied at all. I'm coming in raw.
What a shock.
Can I be honest with you guys? I did a dry run of this last night. I was playing Xbox with some of my good buddies from the personnel world. So I'm playing with personnel guys last night. They struggled in the back half of this.
Oh no.
Okay.
So I was
people who actually do personnel for a living.
I'm telling you, it was fun because I said a name or I said a couple names on there, and I had a couple of guys that were straight up like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, oh man, I'm in for a fun one tomorrow.
So, Andy, before we start this, I have to ask you though, am I at risk of losing credibility today?
I don't think so. Like, because I think some of these might be so obscure or like they're going to be players that you forgot were playing college football. There's so much movement in the portal that
absolutely
it's like Cody said, people who do it for a living, and we do it for a living too, but they're in the personnel world. Like their job is more tied to that than ours, and they still can't. So it'll be It'll be spectacular. All right, let's play the game. River, run the video.
Maybe you're a former 5-star who couldn't find the field at your first school. Or maybe you blew up in the FCS or Division II and want to take your talents to the Power 5. Or maybe you just got a sweet NIL deal and always wanted to drive a G-Wagon. No matter the reason, you fell into the transfer portal and now you're somewhere else. We have to remember where you're playing, and you know what that means? It's time for another game of Whose Team Is It Anyway?
That was good, Andy. That was good.
I love that announcer. He's good. He's good people.
That sounded like a game show. That really you did a good job with that.
The music from River is pretty clutch there. So
was that River on the keys?
Oh yeah, it's an original composition right there. All right, Cody,
I love it.
We are ready to go. I said let's start. Don't make it so hard to start.
Well, before we even get going, Andy, would you guys like to know the rules? Would you like me to explain the rules a little bit here?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will have 10 total prospects that have transferred to a new program. Oh, thank you, Ari. Transferred to a new program for the 2025 season. And maybe a fun bonus one at the end if you guys are lucky. And your job is to write down the schools in which these players have transferred from and the school in which this player will be playing for in the 2025 season. Okay, now, some of these players have transferred multiple times throughout their career and some have transferred just once.
Do we get bonus points if we name all of the places they've been?
You get a point for guessing the correct school and putting that school in the correct slot of the timeline. But you will only be given half a point for guessing the correct school in the wrong slot in the timeline. So, for instance, if we're doing quarterback Cam Ward last season, right? And you go Incarnate Word first, then Washington State, then Miami, that's 3 total points. But if you said Incarnate Word first, then Miami, then Washington State, you'd only walk away with 2 points because Miami and Washington State were in the wrong slots. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm going to level with you. I forgot that Cam Ward played at Incarnate Word until right now. So that's if you want to know, like, I can't wait.
And that's why we're doing it.
I feel like that school's coming back at us in this show.
Nah, you'll be okay, guys. I promise.
Not.
Now, I will say some of these prospects could be difficult to guess. So I'm giving each of you one lifeline to use at any point in the game, and it's called the conference call.
Okay.
When you use your conference call, I will give you the conference for whatever slot you need help in for that round. Okay? And to make sure your opponent...
Cody's been workshopping this.
The conference that they're playing in currently or where they came from?
It's whichever one you want. Whichever one you want the help in. So... And the perk of this, right, is to make sure your opponent doesn't get the benefit of this lifeline, your opponent must lock in their answer before I give the hint.
Oh.
So choose wisely when you use this lifeline. Does this make sense?
Lifeline? Ask the chat.
We can.
Really? I guess we can.
Hey, chat,
guideline.
Don't spoil these answers. Let us answer first.
Look at the chat because the chat is smart and they might know more than we do. So be careful.
For sure.
Okay.
Guys, are our contestants ready to play Whose Team Is It Anyway?
I'm terrified.
You've always wanted to be a game show host, I can tell.
I have. I'm so excited. Then let's begin with player number 1. The first player for you gentlemen is wide receiver Barion Brown, who has 2 schools for you guys to guess.
Wait, he came from
one and is at another. So you have to put 2 schools down for this. Everyone,
okay, I'm ready.
Show your boards. Kentucky to LSU is correct. Excellent job, everyone.
Let's go. You know what, guys?
Barion Brown.
Go to the bathroom now. I'm done.
Yeah, Barion Brown from Kentucky. He is going from the Wildcats of Kentucky, one feline to another, the LSU Tigers. One of the most electric playmakers in the country, let alone for just Kentucky the last couple seasons. This is a guy that has an obvious impact in the vertical passing game, right? But he's also got some serious value in the run and return games due to how he is with the ball in his hands. Now, here's the deal with Barion Brown. I think a lot of us, after the dust settled on these transfer portal windows, myself included, thought that Nick Anderson was going to be the horse of this LSU group of receivers. But I tell you what, the talk of the town after visiting that building a couple weeks ago was all Barion Brown. Okay, I'm saying these cats, they said the dimes being dropped by Nuss to Barion Brown, it could be feeding families for the folks in Baton Rouge.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear because I had to, I didn't just take your word for it on LSU. I had to go, who do they get that is going to be the real difference maker there? And that's why I knew this because, you can't put LSU in your playoff and not be able to explain why when people ask. And, Barion Brown was a major part of that thought process. So I'm happy.
We talk about the season Joe Burrow had in the second season as starter and the season Jaden Daniels had in his second season starter at LSU. In both cases, you had 2 first-round receivers that they were throwing to. And that was my question is do they have somebody like that? And maybe Barion Brown is that. And they still have Aaron Anderson. They still have Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton. It's a pretty good receiving core.
The thing that I will say, too, that I hacked this game is that I knew we were going to get LSU and Texas Tech action from this guy. I read that like a book, so I made sure to look.
not to spoil down the line, but there may or may not be a Texas Tech Red Raider down the line.
Yeah, so I'm sure there will be.
Good clock on there. All right.
Yeah.
But I will say another name to mention on that one, too, Andy, you nailed that in terms of the receiver core. The guy that they would not shut up about was Trey Des Green, 5-star tight end. They said that kid is
who played hoops on the basketball team a little bit. That's the kind of athlete he is. Yeah.
Total freak of nature. But anyways, guys, we are tied 2-2 off the first round. Great job, everyone.
I didn't get 0. I feel like I'm playing
so
with
far, so
money now. Yeah.
So far, so good. The second player, moving on to number 2, the second player for you guys is offensive tackle Isaiah World.
Oh, I know. I know Ari knows this one.
2 schools for you guys to guess.
I don't know he came somewhere from the first. There's 2.
Oh no!
I'm saying
he's only been at one place and then went to the new school.
Yep. So you got 2 schools to write down. Okay, class, phenomenal job. That is correct.
I am really wasting a lot of paper here. I really Amazon isn't just wasting $3; they're wasting the rainforest.
Yeah.
But he is. And you're the personnel guy here, Cody, but apparently a long-armed freak that might be a first-round pick this year kind of guy, right?
His story diving into it was actually extremely fun. I think you guys will enjoy this. Nevada found themselves a gym out of San Diego. And when I tell you guys this might be one of the freakiest offensive tackle prospects in the country, I genuinely mean it because he's still scratching the surface when it comes to offensive line play at 6'8", 310 pounds. This guy moves like a damn tight end. But I think you guys, let me put this into context, just how raw this guy is. Okay. So I was doing some deep dives last night, and this is from Chris Murray at Nevada Sportsnet. So thank you, Chris, for doing some awesome digging back in 2021. Coming out of high school, this kid played 1 season of football. For his entire life, he was a basketball player. Wanted to play football as a sophomore and tore his meniscus. So he missed the entire sophomore year. Then he played the majority of his first year of football ever as a junior as a defensive end at 6'8", 270, and he balls out. Okay, he balls out, gets an offer from Arizona State as a defensive end and commits to him right away in June of 2020. Not sure if you guys remember what was going on in 2020.
Oh, no.
But here we are, deep into COVID, and it turns out Isaiah World's senior season gets delayed. When Arizona State finds this out, they end up backing off of his commitment and essentially drop him. Nevada tells him they do not care. They're going to offer him a scholarship as an offensive tackle. Again, a position he's barely played, and they take his commitment in February of 2021. But my favorite anecdote of this deal was a quote that Isaiah World had, which was, "I honestly prefer playing defense, but I don't mind playing offense." And now the kid that did not mind playing offense has been mocked as a possible top 3 NFL draft prospect at offensive tackle going into this year.
The one thing that kind of stinks, it doesn't stink because I'm happy for him that he gets to go to a bigger school.
Sure.
The personnel people at UNR don't get to ride the wave of that all the way. That's the one bug of this new system, because it's you're not really rewarded.
No.
For being smart.
No, you potentially get rewarded with a better job if you keep unearthing these types of gems because people notice that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe they can make it like a transfer window kind of deal like soccer, where you got to pay a fee to get your guy out of the portal. But guys, after 2, we're still tied. So far, so good. Moving on to number 3. The third player for you guys is safety Zechariah Poyser.
Oh, no.
Again, another guy. You're writing 2 schools. Where he came from, where he's going.
Where did he come from? I know where he is. This is a guess for me.
Okay, show our boards. What do we have?
Yes.
Ari, you guessed correct. That is Jax State to Miami. Great job, gentlemen. I mean, guys, this was a freshman All-American out of Jacksonville State last year. Granted, it's a redshirt freshman, but still, this guy had an extremely productive season last year as a Gamecock. He had 75 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 11 pass breakups, and 3 picks, which made him one of the hottest commodities to hit the portal last cycle. And it's a nice little homecoming for him. He's from Wildwood, Florida, so he's just down the road, playing closer to home. And Miami did some serious
just
damage.
Down the road as someone who drives around Florida a lot. Not even close to just Wildwood is like 4.5 hours from Miami.
As a Texan, I also understand. But Miami did some damage this portal cycle. They brought in 20 total transfers, finished with a top 5 portal class, according to On3's team rankings, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited about what he could do. He's one I heard a lot about during the transfer process. There were a lot of teams that wanted him. And Miami really needed to fix the back end, and I think this will help them quite a bit.
You know, the thing that bothers me is that he's not at West Virginia. Like, that would have been cool if Rich Rod would have gotten a few of these guys. But I am excited to see, and I'm very curious. And I actually said this on the show yesterday to Andy. If I'm undervaluing Miami's potential this year.
Yeah, and I think part of that too. I know you're not exactly a fan, Ari, but I think Carson Beck sort of does give you some juice when it comes to the floor of what your program is, right? Because he's not, I say but ideally he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. And I think a lot of the woes that offense had last year was the drops that he's dealing with. Now, granted, there's a lot of new wideouts over there at Miami, but I think that the floor of that team has to be almost contending for an ACC title, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they should be. I was actually going through their schedule. There's a Friday night game against Louisville that could be a big one in terms of their ACC fate. They don't play Clemson in the regular season. They do play SMU. So I think that it's October 17th, I think. That game against Louisville could be a big one. It's coming on the heels of the Florida State game. They have an open date in between. So I think I need to Canes do.
I think I need to move to Europe because I'm more interested in the ceiling than I am the floor. You see what I'm saying? Like, they paint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
the ceiling is the roof, Michael Jordan.
8-4. That does not turn the bus on for me.
Moving on,
you might be 8-4 this year because your quarterback's pretty good. But I want to know if they brought in players that can help them elevate to a point that we hadn't seen last year. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm just Miami is pretty. Years are flying by here. We're not in year 2 of the Cristobal era anymore. I think that they're waiting to break through, and they haven't done it yet. So, okay. Anyway,
I think that's very optimistic of you, though. All right, that's very good. Looking at the ceiling, not the floor. I like that.
Yeah, who's looking at the ceiling or at the floor?
Yeah,
the ceiling is
moving on. Moving on to the fourth player.
I'm so
guys. We have quarterback Devon Dampier.
Another one of Ari's favorites.
Yeah,
you are writing down 2 schools here, fellas. 2 schools. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Answers are in. The correct answer is New Mexico to Utah.
I feel like Cody's doing me a solid here because he's picking players that I like. All
right. We're on the same wavelength a lot of the time here, okay? And producer River, I don't know if you have an alarm bell on your side of things, but this is the quarterback I'm planting my flag on for the 2025 season. This is my sleeper to be like that guy this year. I mean, guys, the University of Utah has never seen this caliber of athlete under center ever. That includes Alex Smith. That includes Travis Wilson. That includes Tyler Huntley. They did not have the juice that Devon Dampier has in the run game, but the kid can sling the rock too. He threw for nearly 3,000 yards last year, as well as being just 66 yards away from gaining 4,000 total yards last year in his first year as a starting quarterback in college football. If you take Dampier's rushing yards from last year alone, he would have the second most career rushing yards of any quarterback in Utah history. And he's only 60 yards away from Travis Wilson at the number 1 spot there. I think, go ahead.
Why do you think, like, what was his portal market?
Not unbelievably rich.
Why?
I would say I didn't hear a ton of names on that. I agree. I'm also skeptical of what the issue was there. I mean,
I think the fear is the passing numbers will go down against better defenses. A lot of it is defenses were so scared of how he can run the ball that receivers are wide open. He may not be
I'm just surprised
an NFL arm.
Tried to tamper with him after he got to Utah.
Yeah, and the thing that I would point to, right. And I would say to Andy, to your point, he's entering a situation at Utah, in my mind, that it's got to be better than New Mexico. But most importantly, he's got 2 potential first-round picks at left and right tackle to anchor that offensive line. So that's my guy this year. I'm planting the flag on it. Devon Dampier, book it.
Yeah.
So he's your Sam Levitt for this year, which Ari and I have said quite a bit on the show. I think Utah's the one you got to watch in the Big 12. You know, Texas Tech obviously did what they did with the roster, but the thing I keep bringing up about Utah, and you just mentioned the 2 offensive tackles, Spencer Fano, the right tackle, maybe the first tackle off the board in the draft. They recruited in the trenches to win the old Pac-12. Like the guys they're starting the trenches now were recruited to win a Pac-12 that included Washington and Oregon and USC. The Big 12 doesn't really have lines like that.
Right. That was, and not to bring up Texas Tech in this, but like that was their MO. Their whole deal is like, we're going to pay a premium for offensive and defensive linemen. So I agree though with Utah. That's sort of the deal. Like Kyle Whittingham is still there. He's still a defensive guy that is going to make Utah a tough team to beat. Now give them the threat of a guy that people have never seen before in that offense. I would be scared to death to play Utah this year.
Yeah. In a conference race that, you know, your guess is as good as mine. Like
exactly. Wide open.
It's also the most appropriate thing in the world for like Utah to come out. Like if Utah starts 6-0 and knocks off Tech and Arizona State or whatever, like that's such a college football storyline, isn't it? Like that's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Would anyone be particularly shocked if that happened?
No. And Utah's got Texas Tech fairly early. So, and then Utah BYU's right around there too. So this would be a fun one. If Tech and Utah are undefeated, we should. I really want to try to go to new places this year. Now the problem is that even if that were to happen, I don't know how much the general fan who listens to the show would be like fired up to read about it, and you got to take that into account. But you know that game is in Salt Lake City, and we just got done saying stadiums you have to go to. Like that would be a blast. Yeah, Arizona State and BYU back to back for Utah. That's a pretty key stretch in the schedule there. Yeah, so 3 out of 4 against Texas Tech, Arizona State, and BYU. Yeah. All right, Cody, what's our next one?
Moving on to number 5, gentlemen. The player I have for you to guess is tight end Tanner Koziol, who
yeah. I know where he was in the middle.
Technically has 3 schools for you guys to guess. So you were putting down 3.
Where did he go?
I know where he wound up. I'm trying to remember where he started.
I don't know where he started. I don't remember. Okay. Oh, I do. Sorry.
I think it's.
Go ahead and write it down. You can write it down.
Write it down.
Show it.
No, he hinted, but you can't. He didn't. Okay.
I know that he was the leading receiver. He's already written. I'm not looking. He was the leading. Was he the leading receiver in yardage in the MAC last year?
Ari, that cat had 94 catches last year for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns as a tight end.
I think I have the wrong school on him because
it's I know what it is, but
the guy at the school that I put down is in the NFL now. So
not NIU, boys. It's Ball State.
Ball State. God, I knew it was Norway.
However, you both missed it, but you got the other two correct, which is great. So this is a cat that went Ball State to Wisconsin.
Ball State. See, and tell me how NIU. I get a Cougar. Do I get a quarter of a point for getting the color scheme right?
Yeah, he's red, white, and black. That's his MO.
Come on.
Guys,
I have no excuse with Bowling Green because they had Fannin.
Fannin.
So
I had that picture that is on the screen in my brain, and I couldn't place the school. I knew
you were so close.
Yeah.
No, this one's interesting to me because it sounds like Wisconsin wasn't all that sad that he left and went to Houston. So I don't know that. I don't know how this is going to work out.
I mean, the kid went through 15 practices. He just went through spring practice with Wisconsin and bounced. So I will say I was able to go to U of H here last week, and they would not stop talking about this kid. They raved about him. They said his connection with Connor Wegman, the former 5-star quarterback who transferred in this season from Texas A&M.
Him in there.
They have clicked. They said they have clicked and they're doing really well. And they have some big expectations for the 2024 third team All-American. And they expect him to do some damage in the passing game in 2025.
Yeah. And it's a shame because it does, well, maybe not a shame, but it's weird because Wisconsin struck me as the exact type of school where he would thrive in. Bigger school, right. But also like, that's such a Wisconsin person, you know? I don't know.
But is it a tight end that catches 94 balls is not necessarily a Wisconsin tight end?
I don't know.
Wisconsin tight end blocks a lot.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed appropriate when he had wound up there.
Right. Well, the colors were correct, so it was a good choice.
You should get a quarter of a point for getting the colors.
We're still tied. We got to break this tie somehow.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We're checking in at the midway point. Andy, you have 10. Ari, you have 10, but we still have a lot of ball game left here, fellas. And
I have 10.25.
Remember, you guys still have conference calls at your disposal. You each have a conference call.
And I gave Andy one. I just gave Andy one by not forgetting that. I yelled Mac into the microphone.
I knew he was from the Mac. I just didn't remember which school. So,
and
neither did you.
Giving you an edge.
All righty, gentlemen. We're going to number 6. Player number 6 is safety Cole Wisniewski. 2 schools for you guys, okay? I will give you a hint if you have not written down yet. The first
we're done
school
here.
Is not in the FBS. Uh-oh. Ari shaking his head. Not good. What's that whiteboard say, Ari? Does it now say North Dakota State? Yeah, that's a tough one. But Ari, Andy, you are correct. Though both of those are correct, North Dakota State and Texas Tech. But Ari, this was your Texas Tech.
I know. I blanked. I knew the name.
This is the one.
I was trying to figure out where you were going to go with the Texas Tech one because they pulled from a diverse set of sources.
Absolutely. And Wisniewski, he's got an interesting career trajectory too, which makes him so intriguing, which made me understand why Tech was willing to take a chance there, because this is a guy that he played his first 3 seasons at North Dakota State as a linebacker. And then he transitioned to safety for the first time ever in 2023 and was a first-team FCS All-American. He led all of Division I in interceptions with 8 in 2023. And again,
so annoyed.
His first year playing DB.
Because he wrote about this kid when I was writing about Tech like a month ago. Like that's the thing that I cannot reconcile about myself. I have no ability to retain anything.
Yeah, that's tough.
There are so many people who moved. It's so hard to remember.
I mean, it's funny because as we get on down the list, we're going to have a kid that was a class of 2019 high school prospect that when I mentioned him last night with my personnel cats, they said, that kid's still in school? And the correct answer is yes. Yes, he is. But yeah, Wisniewski's got a real shot. They love him over in Lubbock, man. They said the kid is sprinting downhill, playing in the back half as a middle of the field safety. He is rangy as ever. they're gonna be a problem on the defensive side of the ball over there.
Well, and that was like Miami. Their secondary was a massive issue last year. So we'll see if they've got it.
The thing that's so upsetting to me more than anything is that I read this guy like a book and I still messed it up.
I know.
It's like knowing exactly what play your opponent's running and you still can't.
I'm going to be honest. When I didn't see your hand move, when I didn't see any motion, I was like, Ari, be better here. Be better. I needed you here.
That's on me, bud. That's
that's
sometimes you prep and sometimes you don't. I don't know.
Well, we have every opportunity to make up for it here. We're going on to player number 7. Andy's got a 2-point lead here. Player number 7 is offensive tackle Ethan Onianwa, who has 2 schools for you guys to guess. Where is he coming from? Where is he going?
I'm hoping this is the right person. This is a person who I think everybody's surprised he didn't transfer last year. He stayed at the original school and then went to the much bigger football brand this year. Yeah, that one.
Bang, bang. Great job, gentlemen.
It's to Ohio State.
It is Rice to Ohio State. You know, this is the projected starting left tackle for Ohio State this upcoming season, replacing Josh Simmons, who was obviously replaced by Donovan Jackson after his injury last year. But yes, Onianwa signed with Rice coming out of Cinco Ranch High School in Katy, Texas, which is where I went to school. So shout out to the Cougars. But he started over 30 games for the Owls over the last 3 seasons at both left and right tackle. And when I tell you guys, this is a large-bodied boy out there. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a big cat. Came into Ohio State at 6'6", 365 pounds. But get this. In a recent interview, he said he's already dropped 30 pounds since being in the strength and conditioning program at Ohio State. So I have to think the Buckeyes just might have themselves another dancing bear over there at left tackle to protect who we believe could be first-year starter Julian Sayin in Columbus.
Yeah, I think Ohio State did a pretty good job here. My understanding is that Ethan is kind of on the same playing field as World in terms of like what people thought about him in the portal. And like if you look at Ohio State's biggest weakness and the fact that it didn't bite them is a testament to their offensive staff, but like their offensive line was a major issue in the middle of the last year. We forgot about that. For them to, go out and get a tackle that they feel good about, I think is a pretty nice little addition for a program that usually doesn't have a lot of holes.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's perfect. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean,
perfect.
The fact that he can walk and should be able to function in pass protection and as a run blocker, because he's already has the size. He's got the raw power to move guys off the line of scrimmage. It was a question if the feet were going to get more efficient, but when you drop 30 pounds, he's got to feel better than he's ever felt in his life.
It is amazing how enormous humans are now and can move at that size. Like when we talk about Isaiah World and Ethan seems like the same general build, and World may be a little bit leaner, but like I remember being at the NFL Combine a few years ago and the offensive lineman walked by and I'm like, there are no fat guys anymore. These are just jumbo athletes.
Absolutely. But it's funny too, because I think the way the offensive game is leaning is actually more towards the large-bodied offensive lineman, because more teams are getting comfortable with the ground and pound, with running the football.
They want to get heavier because defenses got lighter. Yeah,
exactly. So I think we're going to start leaning more towards that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But also to that person that commented, yes, they also transferred in my Rice dynasty as well. You are correct.
You're a big dynasty guy.
I am a big dynasty guy. Dude, I don't even play the games sometimes. I'm trying to build the team to win a natty without even
through and through.
I'm just trying to build a team that I don't touch. That's all I want to do.
He plays the games. He gets blown out, though.
He does. Ari beat my ass. I will gladly say that.
I mean, I'm nice on the sticks, guys. I don't know what to tell you. And I've gotten much better since we played, too, because I've been watching YouTube.
Yay.
Videos.
Look at you.
I'm one of the YouTube video guys. All right.
All righty. Gentlemen, number 8 player is going to be edge defender Chris Murray. Chris Murray. There are 3 schools, gentlemen, that you'll be writing down here. Signed with a program out of high school, transferred somewhere, and then he transferred up. Gentlemen, screw me. Oh, for across the board, gentlemen.
I got nothing.
Chris Murray is TCU to Sam Houston State to Auburn.
Oh. So he and Keldrick Falk gonna mix it up this year.
Guys, this is at Sam Houston State. He eventually became a first-team All-Conference USA member after totaling 11.5 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks for the Bearcats, taking his talents to Auburn. Again, this is another place I went to 2 weeks ago, and they were like, "Yeah, Keldrick Falk, he's a dude now. He's got every chance to be one of the top edges in the country." But they said the Sam Houston kid was an absolute workhorse. And don't be surprised if you hear a lot of Chris Murray's name when you're watching the Auburn Tigers this coming season.
That's good to know. I feel pretty good that Andy also didn't get it, so I'm still like within striking distance here. But
these are going to get harder.
Yeah,
I think it's something to point out though with Auburn is I think we talk about Auburn and the transfer portal, right? And we mention the offense all the time. We're talking Jackson Arnold. We're talking Xavier Chaplin, who I love. I think he's probably the most impactful transfer in the country to determine what Auburn's ceiling is. We talk about Singleton out there at receiver in this Auburn offense with Cam Coleman and all these wideouts. But guys, Auburn did a pretty good job on the defensive side as well. And so I think they're hoping that pans out for them down the line in 2025.
Yeah. And we're both pretty high.
We talk about it because we talk about the offense because the defense wasn't the problem last year. The defense was pretty good.
Yep. Absolutely. Guys, we are on to number 9. Andy has a 2-point lead going into this. Closing in on the finish line here. And remember, you guys have a conference call if you have not used it, which neither of you have. But we're at player number 9, which is the high school class of 2019. Safety, Jalen Catalon. Who has 4 schools for you to get.
I have a story. 4. I have a story on this one.
Nice. Very good. We have 4 schools to put down, gentlemen. Here's a hint. 3 of them come from the same conference. Whenever you are ready, gentlemen, flip those boards.
I'm ready. I just want to make sure Ari's ready.
Yeah, Ari's face does not look excited.
Yeah, I don't know.
Arkansas to Texas to UNLV to Missouri. I was looking at Missouri's depth chart the other day doing some things, and I was like, this is a brother. Like, there's a Jordan Catalon and a Jalen Catalon. That's got to be it. It has to be he's a brother of a guy who I remember played for Arkansas. No. Same guy. Jalen Catalon played for Arkansas, transferred to Texas, blew up at UNLV last year, and now he's at Missouri.
I think people forget, and when I was looking at this, because I was like, I know he's been here for forever. I remembered his time at Arkansas, but I didn't remember it as glowing as it really was.
He had a great year, and then he got hurt, right? Andy, he was hurt for a year at Arkansas because I remember there was a year where like they think Jalen Catalon will be back this week, and then it wasn't never quite worked out. So yeah, just amazing. One of those things where I could not believe it was the same person. I just assumed there was a younger brother who was playing now. So
Andy, this guy he's been a semifinalist for the Thorpe Award at 2 different schools.
At Arkansas and UNLV. Yes.
At Arkansas and UNLV. I mean, he's been extremely productive as a defensive back. He's seen and played a lot of football. I think he's got a chance to be a real impact player on the Missouri defense in 2025. This is a guy that's played football for, 27 years at this point. Like, that's a staple back there. So I think he's got a real shot.
I'm like really upset right now because I just like there's nothing I can do now, right? Like that's an L.
It's not true. You never know.
This person had like 6 schools.
Hey, you have a chance.
Have 9 schools.
You want to move on to player number 10, guys? This is
let's
number
see.
10.
Yeah, as long as you acknowledge that I lost.
You didn't. You haven't. I promise.
How have I not?
You haven't, because math. Okay, we're using Cody Bellaire math. All right, it's not good, so that's good for you. So this is a Producer River special.
All right, so he ended up at Tennessee.
Running back Star Thomas has 4 total schools for you to guess, and I'll give you a hint for the first one. The first one is a junior college.
I'm going to need a conference call from where he came from.
Going to do it, right?
First conference call. Beautiful. So, Ari, you need to lock in your answers.
I mean, I think
you know what? Ari can get a conference call too, and as to where he's going.
Yeah, can I use a conference call after because there's 4?
You can. We can do that. So you want to know the school? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not going to say it because I don't want to help Andy at all, but I know one thing.
Okay.
And I think I know where he plays, but I don't know there's no shot in the world I can get the JUCO or whatever you said. There's no shot. So
Andy, you want to know the conference, the one he was in just before. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be the ACC.
Okay.
Now, Ari, would you like to know? This is so he's at a school now. The one he is coming from directly. Now I'll give you a hint, Ari, for the one before that is the Mountain West Conference.
I think I have 3.
I have no clue.
I think I have 3 of the 4.
All right. Pencils
but it's
down.
It's going to look
gentlemen.
weird because I changed.
Hold on, I'm Christmas treeing this one.
Just close your eyes, Andy. I had to change the arrows of my directions because of the lifeline help me.
Sure. Okay.
So here's what I wrote down.
Okay.
New Mexico State's not in the Mountain West.
Is it not? I'm pretty sure it is.
It's in Conference USA, isn't it?
Can I get a double check on that? I'm almost positive. If not, I messed you up.
I didn't use the lifeline.
Ari's right.
What?
New Mexico State to Duke.
I had Duke as the destination first.
Wow.
I knew because River. I wrote down Tennessee first because he said it's a River special. So that's why that's up here.
Absolutely. Right. Now, Andy, do you have your board still available?
And then when you used your lifeline,
I got them all wrong. All wrong. What was the first school?
Okay. Excellent. Guys, he's a Coffeyville,
Kansas.
Coffeyville.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, he's now at a loaded running back room at Tennessee, but this is a team that had Dylan Sampson carry the offense to the college football playoff. And I know with all the QB drama during this past offseason has taken over the headlines around this team, but this is a team that wants to pound the rock. And Star Thomas has every opportunity to contribute to what should be another strong year on the ground in Knoxville.
So did he play with Pavia at New Mexico State?
Ooh,
is this another Jerry Kill special here?
That's
incredible.
Because I think he was there in 21, 22. So I have to imagine Pavia was at least there, right?
Pavia was there in 22, yeah. He didn't really be the guy. Possible. He wasn't the guy until 23.
Yep.
That was
very possible.
Embarrassing for me.
Guys, I tell you what, though, you opened the door a little bit. So after 10, the point check-in, Ari has 15. Andy, you have 18. However, we have a final bonus player.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. Here we go.
And this one has 5 total schools for you to guess.
How many people even have 5 schools?
Not many. Not many. If you get the kicker to this, if you get all of these right, you win the whole thing.
Okay.
I promise that ain't going to happen, but I believe in you. If one of you guys gets it, that'd be great.
Okay.
So we are talking running back, Rahsul Faison.
Okay. I know the last 2.
I'll give you a few hints to steer you in the right direction here. Okay, guys. The first school is a Sun Belt program, and the following 2 schools are junior colleges. Good luck. He's got 5 of them. You got to write down.
Okay.
Rahsul Faison, I will say, is famously now fighting for a final year of eligibility.
Yep.
With the Diego Pavia JUCO rule.
I'm trying to remember where
his head coach.
You said the first one's a Sun Belt school, and then it's JUCOs. Okay.
Correct. 2 JUCOs. Sun Belt, 2 JUCOs.
I think I know the 2 non-JUCOs.
I know the last 2. I don't know the first one, so I'm just going to guess a Sun Belt school here.
Yep, fair. Did anyone confirm if New Mexico State?
They're in Conference USA.
You blew
apologies.
You
apologies.
Opened the door for me, but
and
I know
even better. Ari got it.
I know 2 schools on this, so Andy.
Okay,
will probably.
All right, I'm going to get the last 2. I'm going to miss the first 3.
Okay.
Utah State to South Carolina is the last two.
Yep, that is correct. The Utah State and South Carolina are indeed the last two. Gentlemen, this guy started his career at Marshall.
Marshall, was not in the Sun Belt when he played there.
But is now a Sun Belt school. Guys, he signed with Marshall out of high school.
He did you dirty on the lifelines, Andy.
I guess, yeah, sorry, that's on me. I'm trying to, Ari was.
Well, he's not wrong. Marshall is in the Sun Belt now. So
he's not wrong.
He ended up signing with Marshall out of high school, which started his eligibility clock. He did not play football during his redshirt freshman season. He took online classes at Lackawanna College. Then played the following year at Snow, which then led him directly to Utah
That's how he
State.
got to Utah. Okay, that makes sense.
Called out at Utah State and is now fighting for a final year of eligibility at South Carolina, which, according to the head coach at South Carolina, he has given the NCAA that information in January and has yet to receive an answer on if that kid can play.
So he might be supplemental draft territory if they're not careful.
Right.
South Carolina had a guy like that a couple of years ago, Dante Miller, who transferred from Columbia. And there was a weird, it got so messed up that last year, while he was still trying to get an extra year, the NFL came in and said, by the way, you were supposed to be in the 2023 draft, so you can sign as a free agent if you'd like. And he signed with the Giants.
The fact that can possibly even happen is ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
You know, my position is on all that stuff is just let the kid play. Who cares? Like, I mean, come on.
What's it really hurting? You know? Yeah, I hear you on that. But gentlemen, that is our final
That was
score.
A very difficult game. I was expecting, like, there were a couple guys I thought, because the Jalen Catalon thing, again, because I was paying special attention to him the other day, I figured he might be one of them. Somebody in the chat mentioned that Drew Pine might be one of them. And I just was like, okay, I need to look up the Drew Pine path because I couldn't remember what that was. I knew he started at Notre Dame. He went Notre Dame, Arizona State, Missouri, and is now at Bowling Green.
Wow.
The moral of the story,
it's a hell of a journey.
Yeah.
Prepare.
Yeah.
No question.
The other one I thought you might mention, because this was one of those, it happened a few months ago where I was looking through some stuff and I'm like, holy crap, Zach Calzada's at Kentucky.
Absolutely. That one's a wild one for me still. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
so Zach Calzada is Texas A&M, Auburn, Incarnate Word, Kentucky.
Correct. And that's where I thought you were going with when you said Incarnate Word is going to show up again. Like, it's like I had that in the back of my head of like, okay, if he hits me with that, then I know one of them. But
like Zach Calzada beat Nick Saban in Alabama that year.
I remember.
That's how long he's been in the league for a little bit.
I remember where I was when that game was happening. Yeah. That was the hell of. I mean, he played like a dog in that game. That was like peak Sam Levitt performance that night.
Absolutely.
Well, and he goes to Auburn and he was hurt most of that year. Did he even get to play at Auburn? I know he was injured.
I don't think so. Like another fun one that one of the guys brought up last night was Cade McNamara. You guys have any idea where Cade McNamara is the starting quarterback at now?
He's not necessarily the starting quarterback. He is in a quarterback competition with former Arkansas and North Carolina quarterback Jacoby Criswell at East Tennessee State.
Insane.
I only know that because somebody sent me a photo of Mac Brown, Jacoby Criswell, and Will Healy, the new coach at East Tennessee State, at a golf tournament. And I was like, wait, I thought they got Cade McNamara. And I looked it up and it's a competition.
It's a competition.
But to bring it back to the show, I had one of the guys that I was playing with last night. He said he watched you guys guess the logos, the school logos. And he was like,
we have a video.
East Tennessee State or whatever. And he was like, who's playing? Like, and he found out Cade McNamara.
Play the video from that Guess the Logo grab ass show.
Yeah.
This is Barry's gonna have to buy himself a whiteboard. Yeah. I don't know if he can handle that.
I was supposed to get it yesterday, and then my day got away from me, and I
We had a long group chat discussion of where you could get it.
I know.
Well.
I just it was one of those things that just escaped my mind.
That's
history repeating.
Some things change, some stay the same.
Yeah. And not to throw a River under the bus, but yesterday we were kind of talking about this in prep, and he was like, they're going to have whiteboards. Well, at least Ari should have one. We'll see.
It still hasn't
delivered.
been delivered. It's 9:30. At what point does it become obscene that it's not here?
It's a good question. You're asking the right question.
You should get your $3 back, Ari. You got robbed.
You know what else happened? I bought a pair of shoes.
Oh boy.
Remember how I told you I bought Travis Scott's? And
yes,
Jordan 1 lows. I got it off of a website called kickscrew.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an Amex deal that was like pay X number of dollars and get X back. So I used that website instead of StockX, and I bought the shoes in a size 10. And they came and I put them on, and that's my size, by the way. Actually, they might fit you because they were too big. And I was like, what the hell? I have like 25 pairs of these shoes. Why are they too big? Maybe it's a quality control thing, whatever. So I took the shoes to a local reseller store the other day.
You got scammed, didn't you?
And I was like, these don't fit. Do you have them in the same size, or can I sell them? Whatever. I just want to get out. I can't wear them. There's no reason to have them. And they went through this intensive, like, authentication process.
No. Let him work it out.
There's some words, like, I don't know if there's something about authentication process, and it failed. So I bought them from a legitimate place. Like, it wasn't like I found them on like Facebook Marketplace or something. Like, I bought them from a place that had an authenticity.
Yeah, the esteemed Kickscrew.
Kickscrew. But it's
Kickscrew. I was gonna say screws in the name. You should have known.
I'm currently in a American Express dispute of charges thing. Because it's like, first of all, I never would have used this website if it wasn't an Amex deal. Like, don't put this website on your thing if they're going to sell me fake shoes like that. So like that's
how we got it. That was an Amex.
This is more of a Better Business Bureau complaint from Ari.
Wow.
I don't know if you have an Amex, but if you have an Amex, it has like card deals at the bottom that says if you use this business and you buy with your Amex card, we'll give you X number of dollars back if you spend this much. And we use that quite a bit because my wife's quite the shopper. But like, I always go look if I'm going to, because these shoes were like $500. So if you're going to spend money that are, I always go look to see if there's like a deal that you can get a percentage off or money back. And this was on there. And
if you think they're actually 13, send them my way because I'll wear them. I don't care if they're fakes.
I put them on my feet, and it was like, I mean, you wear a 13, they probably won't fit you, but they were a full size or a size and a half too big for me. And that should have been a red flag from the beginning because I wear size 10 and Jordan 1 lows, and I have 20 pairs of them.
Yeah.
So now I have this, and they were like a legitimately good fake. So, because I didn't know, like, I know what they had to like open up the sole and look at like the thread they use at the bottom beneath the like sole of the shoe.
Which at that point, would anyone even know?
I never would have even known. I would have warned them, and I would have thought they were real, but they don't fit. So anyway, hopefully Amex comes through. But that was a pretty large charge I'd like to have back. And then if they don't, if they don't respond, I get the credit on my statement, and then you can just have them, or you can try them on, Andy. But some of the fakes are really, really good.
Wow. Well, I will have to check them out. Maybe squeeze my feet into them if they're,
I'm going to see
a discount.
Hold on. Let me go show them.
Cody, I can't thank you enough. This was beautiful.
I appreciate it.
I'm so happy that I survived this thing because this could have gone a much more embarrassing direction than it did. So
no, you guys were cruising, absolutely cruising. This was a pleasure.
Well, this is going to be a fun season. That's the part. That's why I wanted to do it because I was talking to my son this morning who follows college football very closely, plays the video game, knows a lot of the players, and I was naming some transfers that I thought you might bring up. Right. And he's like, I'm not sure who that is, or I'm not sure where he went. And I was like, okay, good. This is good because our listeners, viewers are there's some complete psychos like us, but other folks have real jobs, have stuff going on in their lives. And they might not remember all of the folks who move from one place to the other. But like Chris Murray, I'm excited to dig into him more now at Auburn because there's been a lot of Auburn discourse this week. I don't know if anybody, the Auburn fans in the chat will know this, but if you've been on Auburn Live, the On Three's Auburn site, if you've been on the message boards, a lot of discussion about golf. not necessarily in a good way. And
yeah,
the fact that Auburn has this roster, though, I don't know that the golfing's going to matter so much, but we'll find out. But
I agree.
Cody, thank you so much. Still not. Ooh, there's the fake.
I want to show you the fakes real quick. Look at the paper.
Oh yeah,
legit.
Do those look fake to you?
They do not.
Couldn't tell you.
They do not.
I would still say no.
And it has the
Jet logo and everything.
Logo thing that StockX does. Isn't this bull? But if they fit you, Andy, you can have them because they're like, it's real suede. It's insane.
Have you sent them a strongly worded email? That should do it.
I don't know. Okay, sorry. I just wanted you to know that I'm not.
Question is, will Ari more aggressively go after this $500 he wants back for getting scammed, or the $3 that he lost out on?
I got scammed by Amazon. I paid for a service that I didn't get.
That is a confirmed scam. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, boys, I think I have 2 whiteboards now. I'm sure the old one will pop up. So, Cody, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Dear Andy, dear Ari, Mar, get your questions in. Andy Staples on 3 at gmail.com, Ari.Wasserman at on3.com, Andy_Staples, or at Ari Wasserman on social media. We know how to find you. You know how to find us. Give us your questions. We will answer them. We have a random ranking tomorrow. Also, topic was given to us last week. We're having a draft. We're doing a draft instead of a ranking because I have a feeling this is going to be one where multiple people want certain things. We're going to draft fictional foods that we would love to eat. We'll see you tomorrow.